I'm George Pearson, and these are just a few examples from some of the training videos I have here on YouTube. Now, when you're working with the training, following along the training, if you want to get the materials I used in the training, just go to the description down below and click on the link that's at the top of the description, and this will take you to a page where you can download the materials. Please subscribe, click the like button, and of course always share on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the video. In this project, we're going to do this retro style postcard, kind of a location, vacation style postcard, and it's really very basic, just some basic fonts in here, a little bit of type warping, and then putting some images into the letters themselves. A few tricks I think in here you may not have seen before, but pretty straightforward process. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on this project. First, we'll start off by making a new file. File new, blank file, and I'll leave this at the default Photoshop Elements size, which is 6 wide by 4 high. If you're working with inches, if you're not, you can change the dimensions over here. Pixels, 1800 by 1200, same thing. And resolution at 300 pixels per inch. Choose OK, and there we go. There's our main file. Now I have my files floating. You've seen this before if you're watching my videos. If your files are just doing this and you don't know how to float them, if you grab the title bar and it doesn't float for you, easy to fix. Just go up to Edit, Preferences, General, and make sure these two lines are checked. Allow floating documents in expert mode and enable floating document window docking. As long as those are checked, then everything will be fine. Okay, now we'll be using Place to bring our pictures into our file, and the reason why I'm using Place is so that I can resize the image until I get it the way I want it. And whenever you resize a layer that has been placed, an image has been placed in, Photoshop Elements goes back to the original file and resamples it, so you retain the most quality this way. Okay, so File and Place. Now the background image in here is, I'm going to scroll down and find that. Right there. There you go. Now notice that these all have matching names and numbers in this. I just demonstrated how this was done in the previous video. So in case you're curious about that, I'll put a link in the description here as well, so you can just go ahead and check out that video on renaming your files. Okay, here we go. It's the Calico 034 JPEG. Double click on that to place it. And it comes in like this, and it kind of comes in maximized with the largest dimension fitting, just like that. Now, I pulled out my window out here so I have some space outside to work with. I can now grab a corner and stretch the image out until it's just a little ways past the borders. There we go. You can resize, more if you wanted to make it look just right, but I think this works out pretty well. Just a little bit beyond that. That way you don't have any little white lines showing on the edges, anything like that. Now this big X on here, this is what you'll see when you're placing. So when you do your resizing and your repositioning, as soon as you're happy with that, just click on the green check mark and it puts that one and locks that in. Notice down here, this little funny kind of icon, bottom right hand corner of the layer, that shows that this is a smart object. So if I go back in and I resize this, it's going to go back and resample from the original, again retaining as much quality as possible. Now this is the backside of Calico Ghost Town. One of our images we'll be using here is the old schoolhouse, and this picture is taken from over near the old schoolhouse somewhere, just kind of across the gorge. So there you go, Calico Ghost Town. It is in San Bernardino County in California, in case you're curious. A fun little place to visit. Okay, let's now put in our text for Calico Ghost Town. I'm going to dock this up here. Just pull it up until we see that light blue outline. Docks it in place, and we'll go ahead and put in the text on this. Now for the text, I want the lettering in white for the moment. So click on the arrow here to invert your colors. If you're seeing different colors down here, maybe from a previous project, just click on the little icon there. It gives you your default colors, and then that little double arrow inverts those colors. Okay, going up to the Type tool, which is right there. There we go. Now the one I used here is a standard typeface. If you probably already have it. If you don't, you can easily get it online. Just do a search for it. And it is called Show Card Gothic Regular. Really any real large typeface will work for this. Anything with a lot of black in it like that, real heavy typeface will work out just fine. So just a real big thick typeface, because we want to have a lot of space inside of the letters to put the pixels. So you don't want to be using any thin typeface like any of these things in here. You want to have a thicker typeface. Okay, I'll scroll down until I find the show card, which is down here pretty close. There it is, Show Card Gothic Regular. Click on that. Now the size for this one is 144. It's a pretty large size. I have mine set at centered. Now we're going to be putting in each letter on an individual line. And we're doing that so we can move our lettering around individually or separately, because we're also going to be doing an overlap. So we want to have this on separate lines. So I'll just click off down here and do a capital C and then just approve that. There we go. Okay, back to the type tool. Click over here somewhere, capital A, and I'll put that in place. Back to our type tool. Notice I'm clicking away from the letters. If you click on the letter, it may reselect that letter, which we don't want. So just click outside someplace, capital L, choose OK, type tool, capital I, type tool again, capital C, and then finally type tool again and a capital O. There we go. So there's the Calico letters. And they come in as you type them, and you end up with the O as your top layer and the first C as your bottom layer. You want to invert that or reverse that. So I'll take the C down here and drag it to the top of my layer stack, and then the A, put it right down underneath of that one, and then the L under the A, the I under the L, and the C under the I, and there we go. So it should say Calico vertically over here. If that reads correctly vertically, then they're in the right sequence. Reason for that is we're going to be overlapping these. We want to have the foreground letters overlapping the back letters. Now to choose a letter, just click on the letter and you can then move that around. I'm going to put these in just kind of basically in position here. We'll shuffle these around a little bit in a moment, but I want to get them kind of where I want them, kind of like that. We're going to be doing just a diagonal in here. Now notice if you click on one of these letters, like there's the L, there's a bounding box around that, and then there's a center mark right on there. Keep that in mind. We'll be using that center mark. There it is here, and here it is on the O. Okay, next step. Come down to the color and choose a bright green. Doesn't matter what bright green is, just a real bright green. Go over here to the shape tool and choose the line. And let's set this at 5 pixels. And then I want to draw a line from about the upper third to about the bottom lower third. And let's put it above the picture. So click on the picture and then draw your line kind of like that. Just a bit of a diagonal. Now this is just a reference line for our lettering. So we have our reference line in there. If you want to see it even better, you can move it to the top of the whole stack here. It'll then show up on top of your letters like that. Okay, let's go down to the C. Now, there is that center point. I'm going to be using the arrow keys, the cursor keys on my keyboard. I'm just going to move that down until that center point is on that green line, just like that. Let's go to the A and bring that down. That's centered. Let's go to the L and bring that down a little bit. And the I, it's almost there already. Again, you don't have to be exact on this, just approximately about there, that's fine. Okay, there we go. So there's our basic positioning for the letters. Now it's kind of hard to see them, so let's put our outline on the letters and our drop shadow at this point, and then we'll come in and readjust the spacing on the letters. And I think I might have my line a little bit too diagonal, but I think I'll leave it like that. It's kind of nice. A little bit more of a diagonal than I used on the sample, but I think I kind of like that. Okay, let's go to the C and layer style settings. We want to have a stroke in here. Now by default it gives you a black stroke. That's fine. Let's set the stroke to 10. Just type into 10. There we go. I also want to have a drop shadow on this, and the drop shadow 5 is fine. The distance, set this to 35, and the opacity, set this to 100. And choose OK. There it goes. There's the outline and the drop shadow. We can see our relationship a bit better now. Okay, now I want to take this style and copy it onto the rest of these letters. And it's actually very easy to do. Right click just somewhere around where it says C and come down here to copy layer style. There you go, click on that. And then select all of these letters. Click on the A, hold the shift key, click on the O. That selects all of those layers. Right click and paste layer style, and it copies the layer style onto all of your letters at one shot. So it's a real fast way to do that. Okay, now we can get rid of that green line. That's no longer needed. And we can see our lettering in here. So at this point, you just want to move your letters around a little bit so it looks a bit better. Like, I don't want to have anything that's really close, like right down there, how the A is almost touching that C in there. So I'm going to click on the A, and I'm going to just drop it just a little bit so that this point comes further into the A, a little bit more pleasing. I think the A to the L looks fine. Now the L to the I is too tight right there. It's just touching. I don't want to have it. You either want to have these things, let me get on the I, there we go. You either want to have these things overlapping like that. If I overlap though, I lose my space down here. So let's take it further away so it's just not touching up there. Kind of like that. A little bit of space up there. So as long as things aren't touching in an awkward way, you're okay. The C looks pretty good. I think I'll move it up just a little bit, just a visual bit in here. And then on the O, I'll bring this one down just a little bit. Again, I don't want to have that corner down here just touching the edge of the O. So I want to have it, obviously into the O or obviously not in the O, one or the other. Same thing up here. You want to have a little bit of that coming in. You don't want it right against that edge. Okay, so nice clean looking overlaps now. And we have our lettering set up. We're now ready to bring in our pictures. And this is actually very easy to do. We'll start off with the C. And click on the C line up here. And then grab the magic wand. Click in the white area. And that selects the white part of that C. We'll use that to make a layer mask. Click on layer mask. Here's our layer mask. Now we're going to come back and use that in just a second. But just don't worry about that at this point. We just need to make that layer mask to match that part of the C. We're now going to be placing in the image for the C. So go up here to File, back to our Place command. And on this one, I use this one here, Calico 007. It's not a James Bond thing, of course, but there you go. Here's the image. And then I'll pull this down, grabbing the corners here and the control handle. So I'm just going to pull this down until it's about the right size. That's pretty close. We'll adjust it a little bit in a second. Choose OK on that. Let's now take the layer mask down here and just drag this up. Just like that. So the layer mask now is on the image. And as one more step, I want to be able to move the image inside of that C without moving the C. So click there, that little link. Undo that. Click on the link. Link goes away. Now I can move the image inside of that letter. So I'll just put it kind of like that to get a nice little overlap in there, and I'll use my arrow keys to move that around just a little bit. Okay, so the C looks pretty good. Let's now move on to the next letter. Alright, the next letter, the A, is the exact same technique. We'll start off with the magic wand, click inside the white area, mix our selection, click on the layer mask. There we go. We'll leave that alone for a minute. Go over here to File and Place. And this time we want to have 02 right there. And she's placed. There we go. Same thing again. I'm just going to shrink this down until it's the right size that I want. Just a little bit larger than the letter, kind of like that, and I'll put it about there. Click the green check mark and then grab the layer mask, pull it up one layer. There we are. Click on the link to unlink that, and you can then with the move tool, move that around to get the position that you want, but kind of like that, so the doorway here kind of matches the opening on the A. Alright, same thing again, down to the L, come down a little bit, magic wand, click in the white area, click on the layer mask, back to the move tool, file, place. This time we want 013, which is right there, it's the schoolhouse. Double click, there's our schoolhouse, and again we need to pull the corner in to shrink this down, and I'll just put it out here a little bit and then bring it down so it's just a little larger than the letter, and put it over the letter like that, green check mark. Grab the layer mask, pull it up one layer onto the picture, click on the link to unlink that, and then move the picture around till it looks good inside of that letter. There we go. Okay, down to the I. Same thing, magic wand, in the white area, layer mask, back to the move tool, file, place. This time we want 019, which is right there, a nice bright orange picture. And let's bring that down, put it over next to the letter, make sure it's just a little bit larger than the letter, a little bit taller, like that. Stick it on top, green check mark, come down, grab the layer mask, pull it up to the image layer, click on the link to unlink it, and then move the image around until it looks good in the picture, get something interesting in the picture. Looks good. Okay, next one, the C. Same thing, magic wand, click in the white space, layer mask, back to the move tool, file, place, and this time we're doing 025, which is right there. That's actually, you can see behind there the sign for the cemetery for the ghost town. There we are. Actual cemetery, actual ghost town. Okay, let's pull that down, bring it just off to the side, and resize until it's just a little bit bigger than the letter, like that. Put it on top, green check mark, grab the layer mask, pull it up, click on the link, and then move the image around until it's nicely positioned. I'll put it so you can read Calico right there, right off the sign. That looks good. Okay, last one is the O. Magic wand, click in the white space, layer mask, back to the move tool, file, place, and our final one here is number 10 right there. It's a bottle house. Double click and bring that in, and once again pull the corners in, and let's resize this so that the image is just a little bit taller than the O, and choose OK. Grab the layer mask, pull it up, click on the link to remove the link, and we can then move that around inside the picture. I'll put it just kind of like that so I can see Calico right there. Okay, so there is the imagery. I think I'm going to move this one over inside. Maybe not. I guess we're okay. Okay, now I want to have the outlines more visible. I left these in black so you can see the outline against the white lettering. But for our finish, we want to have a white outline on that. So I'll go back here to the C. It's our first one. Double click on the FX right there. And this has changed this black to white. Click on that and drag upper left hand corner. Makes it white. Choose OK and OK. And then let's just transfer that to the rest of those. So right click, copy layer style. Now this time, click on the layer that has the lettering on it, hold the control key down, and click on the rest of the letters. This is selecting the letters out of sequence, like that. So we want to have just the letters themselves selected. And then right click, paste layer style, and there we go. Okay, we're now ready for our text down below, down here. It just says Ghost Town. So I'll put my lettering here back, or my colors rather, back to their default settings and reverse that. Let's go to the type tool, and the size I want for this is going to be 60 point right there, and the typeface we're using is a special one that I found online. Any kind of Western looking typeface is fine for this. I just found one that I like online called Nashville. And there's a link for the typeface in the description. As you can see there, it is regular. It's just kind of a nice Western kind of a look, and it's a little bit degraded. So there's our Nashville regular. Click in here, and actually can't see that. Let me just make sure I come up here to the top. Shape 1 right there. We'll do it above everything else. That should work. Ghost Town, that's better. There's our Ghost Town text. So let's pull it over here. You see, it's just kind of a Western looking text that has some nicks in it and some splotches and stuff. Kind of an old-fashioned look to it. Let's now put a bend on this, make it a little bit more interesting. Grab the type tool and click into your text. Come down here to the options and click on this little icon here, create warp text. And we're going to be using the arch option down here, and then set this one at plus 41%. There we go. Hit the green check mark and just kind of put that down here in the bottom right hand corner. Nice little spot there for that. Okay, I want to have the drop shadow and stuff on this, drop shadow on the outline, so let's just come down here to the C again, right click, copy layer style, go up here to Ghost Town, right click, paste layer style. Everything matches, but I want to have the outline in black, so double click on the FX, and let's change this outline back over to black again. Just pull down to the bottom left corner and choose OK. There we go. It's actually a pretty heavy outline for this, but I think it adds a bit to the retro look on this. Okay, last little bit to do. Up here's a little greetings from at the top, and that's pretty easy to do. Just click on the Ghost Town text and then go to the type tool. We're going to change the type here over to a different typeface. This is just a standard typeface, and I'll just scroll up. The one I used is, and actually, so I don't accidentally mess this up, let's just put a new layer in. There we go. Always a good safety measure if you're doing text on top of text. Okay, that way it won't mess up our other text. Now, the one I used is called Bodoni Black Book Italic, but it's just kind of a standard typeface. Times New Roman would work out just fine here. Anything along those lines is fine. Let's see if I can find it up here somewhere. There we go, Bodoni Black Book Italic, right there. So again, very similar to Times New Roman or any of those other serif typefaces, and it's just an italic. I'll click on that one. Change the size here to 24 point. And let's click up here in the sky. Now let's type in greetings from. Now you can put this in white if you want to, or in black. It's up to you. I think I'll just change mine to black just for some variation. So just triple click on that, come down here to the color, and choose the black color swatch. There we go, greetings from. Okay, last thing to do, we just want to put a little bit of a color in behind this to help this stand off. So come down to the layer just below greetings from, which is the Ghost Town layer. And let's change our foreground color here to kind of a cyan. This is kind of like that. Just, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly this. Just kind of a medium blue, darker than the sky up here. Choose OK. And let's go to our shape tools, grab the rectangle, make sure it's set to unconstrained in there. There's our color. This should be matching that color. If that doesn't match, just click on that and then choose a new color in here. That's pretty close right there. That's the CMYK cyan color right there. And then let's just put a little shape right in behind that. A little ribbon type thing. There we go. And then if you want to, you can adjust this value by just bringing down the opacity. I'm going to bring mine down to about 50% or so. There we go, 50%. Okay, there it is. That's how to do a retro style travel postcard. Let's just zoom in one more shot here. You can see the whole thing. There you go. Travel style postcard with all nice little pictures inside of the lettering. Thank you for watching this special Photoshop photography project video. Don't forget to subscribe so that you will get first notice of new project videos in the future. Just click on this link right here where it says subscribe here. You can get all 12 project videos in this series along with 26 special videos demonstrating the tools and techniques that I used in these projects by clicking on this link right down here. And then thank you again for watching this